In this video, I'm going to walk you through how simple trading zone to zone can really be. If you understand how to draw order blocks and you understand what you're looking for, trading really can be that quite simple. So in this video, I'm going to go through some trades I took last week, some trades I was watching last week, and also my analysis for this upcoming week. And I'm going to share with you a trade that I'm actually in right now, holding over this weekend, so you're going to be able to see how that actually plays out. So let's go ahead and get into the charts now, and I want to share with you some critical areas, zones, and order blocks that I am watching. And I'm going to go through a slew of pairs, not every single one of them here, but I am going to go through quite a few of them. But first, guys, a quick disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Trading is risky. You can lose all of your capital. This is simply for educational and entertainment purposes only. And if you are interested, guys, I do have a free Telegram group that I operate. You can go ahead and check that out in the description below here. And in that Telegram, I'm sharing some trade setups, my analysis on a periodic basis. So do check that out. All right, let's go ahead and get into the charts now. So the first trade I want to go over to is going to be a euro odd. This is a trade that I took earlier this week, and then I'm going to go over a euro trade I'm in right now and holding over the weekend. So here's how this one played out. I was on the hourly chart here, and if I bar replay this here, you can see where I took the trade down here. This one happened to work out really nice. I did have an order block down here drawn, and the reason I drew this order block, guys, this is important. There has to be displacement out of an order block. If I don't have displacement, then I'm not necessarily looking at that particular order block. When this thing came back down, and I got about 50% of my order block, I was in. This was a really easy trade. I did not hold this all the way up to the top here, but it was something that I had a good idea and I felt like it was going to work out. And the other reason I took this here, guys, is because if you look at this here, if you look at this one particular instance, do you see this big bar right here? Some people refer to this as an imbalance bar, or they refer to it as a fair value gap. All right, these generally get filled. So once we got down to the bottom of this order block, or about 50% through, all right, I had a good feeling that we were going to come back up and fill this particular imbalance bar, in which we did in this case here. So that was one trade I did take last week, and that worked out perfectly. All right, let me hop over to one trade I'm in now. I'm going to share that with you, Euro CAD. So this is where we are now. The market is closed. It is currently Saturday night, and I did take a short right here. So my TP right here is at about 2.5. I do believe when the market opens, I am going to move this particular trade to break even. So here's what I'm looking at if we were to look at this a bit further out. If price comes all the way down here, I will be looking for longs out of this area into next week. Now, I won't necessarily be looking at this first order block or first zone, whatever you want to call it, order block, supply and demand, support and resistance, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same, guys. Price either goes up or down, right? So right here, I am looking at this bottom one, and the reason I'm looking at that is because I want the furthest order block or furthest zone away. All right, I believe that this will be it right here. So I'm going to give myself the best chance possible in this particular trade if this sets up. If I'm taking this trade here in this area, in this first order block, and I get stopped out, then I'm going to be upset with myself, to be quite honest with you. All right, I would rather lose this trade down here if it gets all the way to the bottom and then get stopped out down here. And I can drag this order block over just a bit here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few other trades here, a few other setups I am looking at. This week there was a nice trade entry on the NAS 100. I did not take this, but if you zoom out here, you can see where I have all my zones drawn up. All right, all the areas I'm looking to take a possible trade, and then I'll explain what this big or larger block is below here in just a minute. So what happened here was we created an order block right here. The reason I didn't take this trade this week, we were right here. We created an order block up here, price displaced down, and when it was coming back up, I was looking for a short in the market here. But I felt like price didn't come down, displaced far enough down for me to be sold on taking a short here. So I just paper traded this one. I didn't actually enter, but I do feel like it is going to play out, and we'll have to wait and see here. If I was in this trade here, I would be moving this one to break even as well. Now, out on the daily, what I am watching, I don't know if any of you are in my free Telegram group, but I mentioned this weeks ago. Weeks ago, I circled this particular bar right here. I said there's a good chance we're going to come down and we're going to get this area and try to fill this fair value gap or imbalance bar, whatever you may want to call it here. All right, and look what price has done. It has come down and it has almost filled that entire fair value gap. Now, I have a couple of pending orders here, one sitting here and one sitting here. On a daily perspective, if price gets down here, I am going to go in, or more than likely, I'll take action here of some sort and possibly go in for a longer term position. I am more interested though, however, if price comes all the way down here at the bottom of this wick at some point next week or even the following week and getting long there. So that's what I'm looking at on the NAS 100. Let me pop over to, let's go over to GU and take a look at that here. I'm coming down and come into 1 hour. So this upcoming week, here are my zones for GU. There is a zone down here at the bottom. Now, I'm not really interested in this anymore, and here's why. I would prefer this to come up and possibly get a short here where I have that marked off. The reason being because we've come up and we've already tested one time right here. All right, we've already tested right there. Typically what I'm looking for is I'm looking for an order block. I'm looking for the first test of that area. I don't like it when price comes in and tests multiple times because eventually these zones will break. All right, so I'm not sure if I'm going to take that trade if that happens. However, if we come up right here, because we had nice displacement right out of this area, I am looking for a possible short on GU if that happens. Now, the stop is a little tight. I might move this up a bit higher and try to go for a 2.5R on this particular setup if it happens. Coming over to USD Chef, here is a really good example of why I don't like taking second and third test of a zone. You can see all the way over here, we had our first setup. We had a price action here, which created this entire order block. Price already tested, so there was a short possible trade right here. Price already tested. Now it comes all the way down. It comes back up here. I'm no longer interested because you already tested more than one time. So I really feel like price eventually will shoot up through this zone here, all right, and up into this area. Now, I like this setup here because this particular order block has not been tested. So I will have some interest there if price does come up that high on USD Chef. All right, let's take a look at AUD USD. I don't have a whole lot going on here. Not much interest here. UCAD. I do have some interest in UCAD if we can push a little higher. All right. I almost got triggered in on Friday, but we're not quite there. So if this pushes up, there's a chance I may take that on Monday. We'll have to just wait and see how that plays out. If you look left all the way back over here, you have to come all the way back over here to get this order block right here. There it is right there. Okay. I drew the order block. We have nice displacement out, and it has not yet been tested. If I come all the way back over here to the right, way back over here. All right. This is the first test. So I think this could be a possible, a really good setup, possibly. Okay. Let's come over to USD JPY. A buddy of mine reached out to me and he said, hey, USD JPY is getting ready. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pass because I'm going to share something with you guys here. Do you see these wicks here? These long wicks, I'll circle it. Do you see that? These tend to get filled over time. And I'll show an example here real quick where they do get filled on two different pairs actually. So it doesn't matter if price goes all the way up to the top here. All right, at some point in time, there's a really good chance that price will come down and fill that wick. And for that reason, I'm out and I'm not looking at this setup to go long here. Although it does look like a really nice area to possibly go long here, I'm just going to pass on this one. So I'm not interested in that particular setup there. If you look at this here, I'm going to come out to the daily and I'll show this to you here how these wicks get filled eventually. All right, if we come back all the way to 2019, this was the 2019 flash crash. Right here it is. And if you look right, regardless of where price goes, it comes all the way back up and eventually it comes down, and look at that, it fills the wick. All right, here is another really good example. I'm on GBP NZD, going all the way back to March of 2020, this gigantic daily wick. All right, when I saw that, I circled this literally a few years ago on my charts and just left it there. I figured price would come up and fill most of this wick eventually. Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to it, and I just noticed recently, if you look all the way over here, all right, price goes down, doesn't matter how far it goes down, Eventually it comes back and it gets most of that wick. And there's already one here. I do think eventually, at some point in time, we will eventually come down and try to fill most of that wick there. It could be weeks, could be months, it could be years, but these wicks do tend to get filled at some point in time. So for that reason, coming back over again to USD JPY on the 1 hour time frame, that is why I am not interested on this particular setup here. I'll just get back to it right here. That's why I'm passing on this here for this week. All right, NZD USD. I'm looking at this trade here. There are a couple zones below. I don't think I would pull the trigger on this particular order block here. I might wait for it to get lower. If I'm going to lose, guys, I'd rather lose on the lower order block or a better position here. So that's NZD USD. Odd NZD. So up here, we already tested here. This was a trade I actually took this past week right here. Super simple setup. This was a fantastic trade, very similar to Euro Odd. They both worked perfectly. But when we come back up here, I won't touch it. I've drawn out my my short tool here, but I'm going to pass in this trade. If it comes up and works, that's fine. Sometimes it happens, and those are the kind of trades you just have to let go. I'm only interested in the first test of these zones because for me, they have a higher probability of working out in my favor. I do have a zone drawn down here, and you can see, you know, when price is doing this kind of stuff, I'm not interested in a zone right there. I want this like these hard rip ups, okay, right here, like this zone, all right, that particular area. So we'll see what happens if price gets all the way down there. It may or may not. Let's come over to NZD CAD. All right. This was a trade that I did not take, but I just put on a little, you know, a little short thing here to see what would have happened. And I did not take this because we had an order block here. We pushed down already, pushed back up. We tested. That was the trade right there. It comes all the way down and back up. We already tested, so this is a no-go for me. I didn't take this trade here. All right. The only interest I have here is if we possibly come down to these bottom zones. You can see right here. I think we already tested this particular area. All right. Yep. So if price gets down here, I won't take that trade because you already tested right there. That is not going to be. I will wait for this bottom zone right here where we have no tests at all. So, and guys, this is the 1 hour. Price can easily, very easily, price can get down to these areas very quickly. So don't think because these zones are far away that price just won't get there. Again, I'm on the hourly. This can happen in a matter of a couple of hours in some cases, or even just, you know, over the course of a day. So let's go down here. I'm going to skip over a few pairs because I don't want to bore you guys with too many pairs. I just want to show you ones that I'm interested in here. Let's go over to, let's take a look at Chef JPY, GJ, Odd, this trade I took here this week. I did get a long down here off the bottom. I almost got stopped out, but I did get that one here. Now, this trade this week, if we get up here, you can see I have this short set right here. If price pulls up, I may or may not take this, and the reason being we pushed out, but then we got these two wicks that came right back up in the area and retested. So because that happened, I'm not sure I'm going to take this trade. There's just too many other pairs. I'm looking for that clean setup, that one test of a zone or an area, and then I'll go ahead and get in. That's all I got, guys. I just wanted to do a video of my analysis for this upcoming week. Do go ahead and check out my Telegram. What I'll do this week in Telegram is I'll post my analysis, and then I'll go back through these trades right here so you can stay up to date and see how they actually play out this week. That'll be really cool for you to see. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. My Telegram group is in the description below. And that's all I got, guys. Happy trading this week, and thanks again for watching this video.